What's up, guys? Y'all waiting on me? That's all y'all do is want to eat. I see you. Good day, everybody. We're just doing our daily walk around. Getting used to my new phone, my new camera. This camera is awesome. This new Samsung Galaxy Ultra. Pretty nice. This land race here is the Auto Long from India. Is getting crazy, as we can see. Let's get down here on the level. You can see our elephant ear is huge. We've already topped it a couple of times. You can see you've gotten two new stobs there. But this one up here is just, we're gonna probably have to take it. It's stretching all the way across the creek almost. If you could see it, it's just, I mean, my hand ain't small. It stretches all the way across the creek here, almost. It's almost to the edge there. This here is stretching, this is just laying on top of it. You can see our white sage. This is white sage. It's the same stuff that's right over here. We have some here, and then we have some over there that we're doing a little chop and drop. Our horsetail weed here is, we're going to get to the point where we're going to have to start chopping that. We don't want that going to seed. This is the same stuff that we chopped down over there. And then we've got them topped. See if we can topped out some of that white sage over there. This focus is crazy. It's like touch sensitive. We've got our dog fennel. The dog fennel we had to cut. We don't want this going to flower either, or seed. You can see the top of it right there. I guess I've got to go around the other side to get to it. So yeah, we had to cut the top off right there. This will get out of hand. That dog fennel will get out of hand. It gets crazy. See, we can just come down here and take a little bit off. Chop and drop. This stuff is like dill. Very much like dill. Has a very dill-like smell and actually somewhat flavor too. Tastes like shit, but the smell is awesome. Mosquito repellent, bug deterrent. The white sage is known to be fungal, anti-fungal, anti-bug. I mean, you never see any type of pest issues. The only thing I have seen the white sage attract is the slug. The slug seems to really like to get up in that, in the sage. Up in here, I'll be looking down in here and sometimes see a slug just hanging out. Oh, look at that. There's one right there. It really doesn't, I don't see it eating much. Like, they're not attacking. They just like to hang out here. I don't know. But it stays healthy. Bugs don't attack it. It's very soft to the touch. Has almost like a rabbit ear feel. Very soft, really hard to break apart. Look at the slug, it's coming on over. The slug seems to really like that soft feel. This is just a pile of algae that we had up. We did a little cleaning. Run my hand through here. Release a lot of that buildup. We do that at least twice a week or so. We added some sand, silt, and clay to the edge. We still got to add a little bit more, but you can see how the water has wicked all the way up. You can go on one of my shorts, my short videos from yesterday. We added some of this to the edge. And once it connects to that, it will wick that water. You can actually watch it just pull water all the way up. Pulls it all the way up into this moss, where the moss will get it and suck it up. The moss holds a lot of moisture. And then that just transfers right over into the bed, and cannabis roots come to the creek, attach themselves, and you see the results. This is all new to me. This was all an experiment. Just something that I've been dreaming of doing for a long time, and then just got the resources and the knowledge from following people on YouTube like Leighton Morrison, and Marco is growing. Bunch of different people on YouTube, lots of information. I started really focusing not so much on growing cannabis, but focusing on natural farming and the soil. Found the soil food web with Dr. Elaine Ingham. Her knowledge, along with Leighton Morrison and his horizontal soil system. And it was the horizontal soil system that really set a light bulb off in my head. And I was like, wow, I think you could use that system to recreate, Mother Nature, basically. Just that was the kind of information I was looking for and needed to be able to set something like this up in basically a sandbox, and then use the rock to hold in everything. But down here at the sandbox is where my sand, silt, and clay. It's where my E and my A and my O, all my horizontal soil. So basically you got rock at the bottom where the floor is your bedrock, and then from there we have pea gravel mixed with sand, silt, and clay and organic matter, which was basically composted in my driveway. So I just did buckets of it at a time from here on my property down on the reservoir. The same material that this material here that we use on the edges, we leave the organic, so there's no organic matter in the center. So we clean all the organic matter out so it doesn't wick and hold a whole lot of water, and we don't want a whole lot of organic matter in the center of the creek, because in nature a lot of that gets washed on down to its final into the ocean. But here on the edges, a lot of it is retained because there's not a lot of flow, and this is where the wicking action takes place and allows the plants to connect. But it's the sand, silt, and clay with the organic matter that's down here at the bottom. And then we have a layer of clay, like red clay, on top of that. And then it's not a thick layer. You don't want to create a watertight seal down there. You want the water to stop and then slowly seep through. That clay is, once you get that clay layer down, then I have multiple layers. So there's red clay, and then there's more of the sand, silt, and clay from the edge of the creek. And then there's some yellow clay, a little thin layer of yellow clay, and that yellow clay is what separates the soil layer from the reservoir. So the reservoirs where the water, the extra water that is wicked through the soil and then goes on down, all the extra water will end up into the reservoir and not sit in the soil. So the soil won't be sitting in water, basically. The roots of the plants will then can grow down through your layers down to that clay layer. Once it gets to that clay layer, it enters the clay. The soil stays on top where the roots can just keep on going down into the reservoir and suck water non-stop. It's a never-ending flow of water. All we have to do is maintain the level of water in the pond and keep the water flowing. As long as the water is flowing, the sand, silt, and clay is wicking. So if you turn off the water, the sand, silt, and clay doesn't wick, or it won't wick as well, as it's something to do with the flow. I can't explain it. It's nature doing its thing. It has to do with that something to do with the electrical charge and all the other kinds of crazy scientific stuff going on, that as it's flowing, it wicks. If it just sits stagnant, it really does. It wicks, but not like it does when the water's flowing around the corner. Like when it's going around this corner here, it just hits that sand, silt, and clay and that pea gravel and just starts to wick it right. You can really literally watch it just wick it right on up the wall. Pretty cool to watch. This is our auto flower from Night Owl. I do think I see some little white hairs down there. I do. This is the other auto long, same as this. We've got the GG Sherbert from Fast Buds. This is one of their fast flowers. Looking really good. And then we've had this little baby auto flower that just flipped during the stress. It's looking good, and it does smell good. So that's a plus. Oh, I need to get this dog fennel here. This was the top of that dog fennel over there. So what we're going to do is just take this and we'll just chop and drop it right there. You can see how big it was and just give you a comparison. It's big. The same one that we chopped right here. Cooter's just hanging out, waiting on a worm. You waiting to get fed? I got you, bud. Here, let me drop you a nugget in there. What's that? Piece of dirt. Where's your partner in crime at? There you are. You want a worm. I don't have a worm right now. You have to deal with nuggets right now. Oh, you get two at a time. He's definitely getting bigger. When I first put him in there, those little pellets, he'd be struggling. You could definitely see the pellet was bigger than his mouth. Now that his mouth is bigger than the pellet. You better get over here, Scooter. Homeboy's gonna eat all your food. Here. You missed it, dummy. Here. There you go. Oh, you want worm. See what happens when you get too many treats? All you want is treats. You gotta eat your dinner first, bud, before you get a treat. Gotta eat your dinner before you get your pudding, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Alright, I appreciate everybody walking around with me today. And we shall see you tomorrow. Not a whole lot to do today. We're just going to fill in a few more gaps on the sand there. But other than that, Sunday fun day. Have a great one.